1200 years have passed since he was alive. His dance is a rare kind of dance. It is a kind of whirling, just the way small children whirl. Standing on one spot, they go on moving round and round and round. And perhaps everywhere in the world, small children do that, and their elders stop them, saying, "You will become dizzy, you will fall, you will hurt yourself. And what is the point of doing this?" Jalaluddin, Maulana Rumi made a whirling, a Sufi dance meditation. Maulana Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi Balkhi was born on September 29, 1207 in Persia. This place is now known as Afghanistan. When it comes to Rumi, the ecstasy of my being begins to overflow. When it comes to Rumi, ecstasy of my being begins to overflow. The poems by Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi are beautiful as always. He has spoken only beautiful words. He is one of the most significant poets who are also mystics. Rumi is a rare combination of poetry and mysticism. Rumi is a rare combination of poetry and mysticism. There are millions of poets in the world, and there are a few mystics in the world. But a man who is both a poet and a mystic is rare to find indeed. Rumi is such a flower. Rumi is such a flower. He is as great a poet as he is a mystic. Hence his poetry is not just poetry, not just a beautiful arrangement of words. It contains immense meaning. It contains immense meaning and points towards the ultimate truth. It is not entertaining. Instead, it is enlightenment. An ecstatic Rumi sings, outside the freezing desert night, outside the freezing desert night, this other night inside grows warm, kindling. The outside is not the real space for you to be. Outside you are a foreigner. Inside is your real sojourn. There alone you are at home. Outside symbolizes a freezing desert night. Inside it is warm, kindling, and cozy. But very few are fortunate enough to move from outside to the inside. They have completely forgotten that they have a home within themselves. They are searching for it, but they are searching in the wrong places. They search for their whole lives, but always outside. They never pause for a moment and look inwards. Let the landscape be covered with thorny crust. Let the landscape be covered with thorny crust. We have a soft garden in here. Be worried about what happens on the surface outside. Inside there is always a garden ready to welcome you. The containers blasted, cities and little towns. Everything becomes a scorched, blackened ball. The news we hear is full of grief for that future. These words of Rumi are even more significant and meaningful today than they were when he first wrote them. He wrote them 700 years ago, but today it is not only a symbolic thing, instead it is going to become the reality. The continents blasted, cities and little towns. Everything becomes a scorched, blackened ball. The news we hear is full of grief for that future. But the real news inside here is there is no news at all. In this last sentence, depends on an ancient saying which says, no good news, no news is good news. I have heard there was a very small village where the postman used to come only once a week. The people were afraid that he may be bringing a letter for them, and they were happy when they found that there was none. Once in a while there was a telegram for someone. Just the rumor that someone had received a telegram was such a shock in the whole village that everyone would gather there, and only one man was educated enough to read. Everybody was afraid a telegram, that means some bad news. Otherwise, why should you waste money on a telegram? I learned that no news is good news. People were happy when they received no news from their relatives, from their friends, or from anybody. That meant everything was going well. Ecstatic Rumi overflows. The news we hear is full of grief for the future, but the real news inside is there is no news at all. Everything is silent and everything is beautiful, peaceful and blissful as it has always been. There is no change at all, hence there is no news. Inside there is an eternal ecstasy forever and forever. I will repeat again that these lines may become true in your lifetime. Before that happens, you must reach within yourself where no news has ever happened, where everything is eternally the same, where the spring never comes and goes but always remains, where flowers have been from the very beginning. If there has been any beginning, these are going to remain to the very end. if there is going to be an end. In fact, there is no beginning and no end, and the garden is lush,